The laziness cure you don't want to hear.
Let me know if this sounds familiar to you. You just started playing a new video game. Maybe you started playing it because a friend told you it was fun, or maybe you started watching some YouTube gameplay videos about it, so you decided to give it a try. And at first, it feels kind of shitty. You don't really get it, you're not very good at it, so it genuinely feels tedious to play. The experience of playing the video game is pain. But you stick with it a little bit. You suspect that maybe if you just put a few more hours into it, something will click. And quite often, something does. When that click happens, all of a sudden what was once tedious...
Yeah, sometimes, except if it's one of those mobile progression games, right? Where you progress and then at some point, the time you have to wait for, like, let's say a building to be ready, like Clash of Clans or whatever, it's just too much, so then you just never log back in again.
This becomes addicting. You discover the core gameplay loop. And that core gameplay loop keeps you playing for hours and hours on end until it's cutting into your sleep, you're playing till 3 a.m., and your entire family leaves you for someone who doesn't do that. If this situation...
The only games that I would play like that is Alien Isolation, which I played a lot of because it was one of the childhood games that I wanted to so much when I was a kid, but never had a PC or console or whatever, so I couldn't play it. Resident Evil 7 and Genshin Impact, which I used to play on my phone a lot.
Sounds familiar to you, then you will have no problem understanding the phenomenon of laziness. Because in life, we work hard at various things every single day. We know we're supposed to put in long hours of doing the right thing because we've been told by our parents, society at large, or by ourselves that it's what we should do. But the payoff for doing these things often feels lacking, like we don't really understand the point. And when we don't understand the point or the reward, we won't be motivated to do it. And when we're not motivated to do the good things we're supposed to do, we think of ourselves as lazy. But the fact is, you're not.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, that's like the thing that I was explaining last stream. That laziness, at least this is my understanding of it, and this is what I saw on Instagram too. That laziness is just you not doing or delaying doing something that the result of doing that thing is better. Basically, it'll make you better, or it'll get something done that is better for you, right? And you're just delaying becoming better, which is just so bizarre, because, like, why would you do that, right?
Lazy. You have seemingly no problem putting in long hours towards things that you find enjoyable or fun, but when you can't see the point, you can't feel the motivation. In other words, if you haven't discovered the core gameplay loop, you won't be incentivized to play. So how does a core gameplay loop even work? Why do some things feel addicting and others feel super boring? And what if there was a way to feel that same desire and motivation that you might feel towards video games or watching your favorite show, but towards doing things that would improve your life to a significant degree? Well, there is a way. And the first step is to understand what's going on under the hood. So here we go. You are only motivated to do anything in life, not because the thing is enjoyable, but because you think it might be. Now that might sound kind of funny, but it's true. You're only motivated to do something, not because it's enjoyable, but because you think it might be. A good example.
That's true, especially with games and stuff. You start playing a game and you're just like, oh, okay, this might be fun. That's why I'm playing it. Or with the gym, okay, this might be fun. That's why I'm doing it. But, like, you know, with harder things, right, people tend not to do them, but they know that it'll benefit them if they keep doing it every single day, but they just don't.
Example can be found in watching sports. People sit down to watch their favorite sports team in the hopes that their team will win the game. But when your team is getting
I don't really like sports.
brutalized, it's not very fun. But sports fans will typically watch anyways. Why is that? Why would you continue to sit there and watch your team get scored on and lose badly, even if it isn't enjoyable? Well, it's because it might be. You keep watching because your team might score. It's the hope that keeps you...
Yeah, it's basically a dopamine hit that you're going to get from the other goal scoring a point or whatnot, right? That's the whole idea of it. That's the science behind it. It's the dopamine that you'll get from it.
Glued to the screen, even when the activity itself is in no way pleasurable. This is due to a psychological phenomenon known as reward prediction error. And it's the reason why gamblers gamble, why smokers smoke, and why League of Legends players exist. You expect that the activity that you sit down to do will be enjoyable. And when circumstances don't play out in the way that you expect, this puts you in a state of dopamine deprivation. Your reward prediction had an error, and it feels bad. It wounds you, and it makes you crave the antidote that might just be around the corner. It's almost like developing a habit.
Right. That's why being addicted to scrolling, being addicted to drugs is so addicting, because you're just looking for that dopamine hit that you haven't found in a long time. Because eventually, when you keep activating that dopamine receptor, right, you're not gonna feel it anymore.
Of cramming your foot into an extremely tight shoe, only to experience the eventual relief of taking it off. We've been gaslit into believing that our return back to baseline is pleasurable. Here's another example. If you and I were sitting on the couch just chilling out together, and I show you a funny meme on my phone, you'd probably say, "Ha, that's pretty funny." And then you'd go about your day feeling kind of the same, maybe a little bit better off because I have a brilliant sense of humor, but also because we shared a little moment of human connection, a little shared experience. But what you probably wouldn't feel is a restless agitation, desperate for me to show you another meme.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
What?
Next one. Again.
What?
Again.
Okay.
Yeah, another.
But that's exactly how you feel when you're scrolling YouTube shorts or browsing funny memes.
That's why I'm telling you guys, this is what the government built. The government made a box, right? Here's the box. This is your phone. Imagine this is your phone, right? The government made this box, and they said, okay, so we packed all the dopamine you need, all the dopamine you want, all the dopamine you will ever receive into this box. Here you go for $100 or $1,000 or however how much. Here you go. Do this. This will never benefit you in your life through looking at this box, but you'll still get the dopamine out of it. So why not get it? So what we should do is just take the dopamine box, which is your phone, and just throw it out the window, right? The only technology should exist is your PC, because you can't take that with you. No laptops, just your PC and small Nokia phones where you could only call, not text. Those are the only things that should exist. And the fact that when people try to promote motivation, try to promote people to become better, try to promote people to going to the gym, and they get censored for that information because they don't want the people to become better, they just want them to be lazy couch potatoes so they can absolutely control them. That's just absolutely crazy. They just want you to be a sheep that'll listen to anything they say or do.
Memes by yourself.
Our Chinese made playing cards.
You like that one? It's pretty funny. Like, I think that's funny about it is,
Just go next. Just go next.
but you know, like China, right? It's a country.
Yeah,
And you
China.
have,
China.
China.
Oh, yeah. They
But, like,
can't spell.
and the
right.
joke is that
There's-
things that are
yeah.
made in China are not good quality. So
Yeah, no.
It's like it's
Just
proving
go
it.
to the next.
Because when you're caught in a doom scrolling loop, you're sifting through mostly unfunny videos, which is slightly psychologically painful, which makes you crave finding an actually funny video to ease the pain. The feeling of compulsion, the motivation to keep going, doesn't come from anticipating pleasure, but anticipating the relief of the agitation. The agitation that was caused by participating in the activity in the first place. This is the dopamine illusion, and it's the core mechanic in a gameplay loop. It's also the very thing that we need to weaponize in order to make our real-life activities more motivating and addicting.
That's why I stopped playing video games myself as well. Because through playing video games, it's not like video games aren't fun. But does it really matter though? Does the result of the video game really matter? No, it's not going to make you better. Why not focus more on yourself, on going to the gym, becoming better, than basically just playing games all day? But yeah, it's that dopamine hit that you should try and get from things other than your phone, other than gambling, other than alcohol, other than drugs. You should try and get it from things that'll actually make your life better.
Okay, so how do we develop the core gameplay loop of
There
our
you go.
lives so that we feel motivated and mobilized to do constructive behaviors rather than destructive ones? Well, basically only one thing needs to happen. We need to feel more dopamine towards the things that we want to do. It's that simple. It's that simple because dopamine...
And I'm pretty sure the only way to gain it is by doing those things over and over and over again, seeing results, and you not wanting to stop. You know, it's going to be hard at the beginning, especially in the beginning. It's going to be extremely hard to continue and to keep going. But, you know, once you start seeing the results, once you start becoming better, bigger, stronger, more lean, you know, that's the really good stuff.
is motivation. What if I told you that all of the dopamine that you need in life is already inside your brain. Most people are under the illusion, the impression that things give them dopamine, right? Like they want to play a video game and that thing is giving them dopamine. Or they want to eat a nice tasty ice cream cone and they lick it and they're getting dopamine from it. But that's a little silly, right? That's not how it works, because the dopamine is already inside your brain. Your brain just needs permission to release it, and it releases it based on whether or not you expect a reward. Expectation is everything. If you don't understand the point of what you're doing, if you cannot even anticipate or fathom any potential reward, then you won't feel motivation towards that thing. It's as simple as that. So if you want to feel more motivated to do your work, you have to ask yourself, what's in it for you? Do you even want to? What can you hope to gain from doing what you need to do? Not just in the future, but now. How would it make you feel to finally sit there and get it done? Do what you need to do. Would you feel a sense of relief? Maybe some inner peace? You know, asking yourself these questions might sound trivial, but you probably know better than anybody that you don't want to do what you don't want to do, right? If something doesn't sound fun to you, if something doesn't sound enjoyable, you're probably going to really drag your feet on it. You're going to procrastinate the hell out of it. So simply sitting there and imagining why it might be enjoyable to do what you need to do, you will get a squirt of dopamine.
Just thinking about all the results that, you know, you'll get out of it, or thinking about how much better your life will become through doing that thing, then will motivate you more into doing that thing than just doing it, not knowing that it'll make you better. But how can you not know that the gym will make you better, right?
You will feel motivated to do it. But the question is, will you be able to feel that dopamine? And if you can't, then you have to tackle the other problem. Dopamine desensitization. And this is the part of the video.
That's the most important part to fix. If you're able to fix that, then I think the only way you could truly fix that is through doing a detox. If you do a phone detox, say, that'll be the best thing you could do. I did a detox for one day in the army because I dropped my phone and the screen broke and I had no phone. And that was the best day in the army for me in my life. It was super refreshing. I went home the next day. It was just so nice. It almost lifted a weight from my chest. Made me relax. It made me more tired though. It was just way better. And you know, you would find other things to do to satisfy not having your phone, right? And those things that you would do to satisfy not having your phone would make you better. Like I did. I think I did some push-ups that day. Did some drawing.
That you might not want to hear. If you want to feel more motivated in life, if you want to cure your laziness, then you have to stop doing things that desensitize you to dopamine. Scrolling YouTube shorts is not free. Watching two people you don't know getting intimate on camera for money while you do nasty things to yourself is not free. These activities that have you...
All of these things, especially the second one he said, will not only damage you, it'll damage your mental health, it'll damage how you see relationships, it will turn you into an introvert. It'll give you false ideologies of how other people work, and then you'll just become more closed off socially, and it'll just basically create brain damage.
Constantly hunting and seeking and searching for the right clip are overloading your dopamine receptors to the point where they die off. And that makes you less sensitive to the natural motivation.
And that was correct. You should cut out your phone. Just basically throw it away. Take the box, as I said before, take the box that I gave you and just throw it out the window. Just absolutely just throw it out the window. You don't need it. You absolutely don't need it. All we need is just a small phone or a landline phone, right? Small phone that you could only phone, no texting, just calling, and your PC, your desktop PC, because you can't take it with you. That's all we need.
That's already inside you. There's a very good chance that you are motivated to do your job. You are motivated to go to the gym. Your brain is releasing dopamine just fine. You just can't feel it because you're living with dopamine receptor atrophy. And the cure is brutally simple. You just have to stop. And that's what the first half of the video is about. Hopefully you now know that you're not actually addicted to any kind of reward or pleasure, but merely to the anticipation of reward. Then you'll also know that you're not actually missing out on anything if you stop. By stopping, you're just freeing yourself.
That's why, like, you know, when you see a lot of people, all these big YouTubers, all these big entrepreneurs, these people that own all these big companies, right? They don't sit down and watch. They don't sit down and post on Instagram or whatever. Or maybe that's their job to do that. And if you look at these people, all they do is work. So they earn their dopamine through the work that they're doing.
A mental prison you never enjoyed anyways. So how long does it take? If you stop engaging with this mental prison, how long before your motivation comes back? Well, in my experience, there's both an acute, instant benefit that happens the day you stop, And there's also a long-term benefit of about 3 weeks. But I notice a huge difference between days where I start the day by doom scrolling a little bit and then try to do work versus days where I don't do that. I start my day off a little bit slower and then I somehow have more motivation to sit there and do work. It's like magic. And I think this is because...
And I'm also not trying to say that I don't doom scroll, I don't do these things, because that'll be a lie. It would be ideal to just try not to look at your phone, try not to go on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or whatnot, because if you doing that without getting any actual work done, then you'll keep getting this fake dopamine that just doesn't matter. We gotta live in the real world, folks.
Our brain works in contrast. Right? If you start the day off with blasting your brain and using all of the dopamine that you have in your brain, and then try to do something less dopaminergic, more naturally dopaminergic, it feels super boring and tedious. So there's an acute, instant effect to not doom scrolling today. And if you can go 3 weeks with this mindset and this new lifestyle of identifying the
You know, another way you could do this is, at least for my Christians on Twitch, you should give everything to Jesus Christ, all your problems, all your stresses, everything, give it to him, and keep praying, keep having faith, keep going, don't give in to the flesh, because this is giving into the flesh, right? And that's a sin. We should not do. We should try to, through prayer and through faith and through Jesus, we should try to limit that. And only through him can we stop doing these things that we do, which are not good for us. So just never give up. Never, ever give up. Keep going, keep praying, and you'll get there.
Trap for what it is, then you'll notice that after 3 weeks, your motivation just starts flooding back. Like things that you thought were boring, that you couldn't focus on for more than 11 minutes, you can dive into, and you're not feeling restless or agitated or wanting to do something else. You're just calm and smooth. When you achieve dopamine resensitization, you won't need little tips and tricks to stop looking at your phone because you won't want to look at your phone. The benefits...
That's why raising your kids, that's why the kids that are raised now, especially now, kids that are raised in let's say in villages where they don't really use their phones and they go outside and play and they do all these productive things, that's why they don't need their phones that much. That's why they go to sleep early. That's why they don't have any problems with fake dopamine, because they just play out in the wild. But now the way that they've formed the big cities, the way that they've made the big cities, they haven't left any free space for kids to play. There are barely any parks or any play places, and if there are, they're monetized, so you have to pay for them for your kid to play in. There's no forests left nearby. There are no empty plots of land that the kids can go run play in. Everybody's scared to let their kid go outside. Through the years, all these sick people have been made by the government, like, you know, kidnappers and whatnot. It's become more common. So the government has destroyed the modern day kid's childhood, which is an absolute big problem. Kids don't socialize anymore. But that's why raising your kids in the forests or raising your kids in a village is the best thing you could do. And not buying them electronics, which is the most important part.
Arguable. Normal, healthy things in your life, work, exercise, learning, creativity, socializing, will feel exciting and engaging and motivating to do. And this isn't just wishful thinking, it's a biological reality. Solve your dopamine and you will solve your laziness.
Fire video.